GOLD participants from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, Florida licensed midwife and MC for GOLD Learning. I'm chatting today with Dr. Lesley Page about her upcoming presentation titled Midwives with Women in the World, the World of Women and Midwives, Worlds Within Worlds. This presentation is part of the GOLD Midwifery Online Conference and will be held live on February 13th at 1600 UTC. Welcome, Lesley.
Hello, Kristen.
It's so wonderful to have you with us here today, and I'm very excited about this upcoming presentations. So Lesley, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your professional journey and how this
Yes,
area became of interest to you?
I'd be delighted to. I first became a midwife in 1966, and although my picture is of me in an academic robe, I started in the National Health Service, and it was a kind of apprenticeship midwifery system. And I worked both in the community and in the hospital. And in 1966, it was really before there was any medicalization of birth. We had just started to hospitalize birth, but there was very little technology. And so I spent a lot of time in the community, working with community midwives, attending home births. And so I got a kind of picture of midwifery, which is very different to the picture of midwifery in birth that we have now. And gradually, my life developed in unexpected ways. I went into university and took and earned a degree, and I worked both in Canada, where I helped in the fight to regulate midwifery, to have midwives integrated into the health system in Canada. And that experience in Canada actually taught me just how crucial midwifery is and how important it is to women. And soon after that, I was recruited to return home to the United Kingdom, to Oxford, where I became director of a large maternity service and managed a midwifery service in the 1980s when birth was becoming medicalized. And after 5 years of managing and doing academic work, I became the first professor of midwifery. And over my career as professor of midwifery, and then later I was elected as president of the Royal College of Midwives, I visited midwives, doctors, and others working in the maternity services around the world. And I became really interested in the differences. Parts of the world where women have no skilled attendance at birth, and parts of the world where, in fact, there's huge over-intervention. And I've always been really political. And I became aware not only from the research and academic work, but also by my experience in practice. I've always continued to do hands-on practice, of seeing women in one street in very affluent situations and the next street in very, very poor situations. And going around the world, seeing the differences between different parts of the world. And it's not just the life situation of women, but it's also the variability in the maternity services. So in some parts of the world we have caesarean section rates of over 50%, and other parts of the world where it's much below 10%. And I soon became aware that it isn't just the health services that influence the outcome and the experience of birth for women, babies, fathers, and other parent and family, but it's the politics of the status of women. And it became clear to me that one of the most important things we need to do is to be aware of the status of women and how, for example, the education of women will increase health for the woman herself, for the family, will improve their life situation, but also increases the economy of the country that they're in. But I started to think about that very private world, the world of the woman, the mother and her baby, the father and the baby, the other parent and the baby, and the family. And it becomes the whole world. I've always been interested in attachment or the bond of love between the mother and the baby. And seeing in my practice that world, the baby is part of the mother, part of the woman, and the baby is the whole world to the woman and her family. And yet I could see the impact of the outside world on that experience, on the outcome. And I thought that comparison was really important. And so what I saw was inequalities within countries and between countries, different situations within countries and between countries. And of course, the political events of the last year have taught us that we are one world. We're citizens of one world. And so thinking about how we reduce the inequalities, how we make things more equal, less variable, is really important. And lastly, I'm president of the Royal College of Midwives, which is a midwifery association, part of the International Confederation of Midwives. And that work of solidarity, of working with each other, being aware of each other's situation, is really important. And it's only through solidarity between midwives, but midwives and other professionals, other birth workers, but also midwives with women is really important. So I'll be talking about all these different worlds within worlds.
Thank you, Lesley, for sharing your journey with us. It sounds wonderful how you have supported women in birth over decades and also birth professionals involved in this. This is a wonderful work you're doing. And I know you just touched a little bit on your presentation, which is called Midwives with Women in the World of Women and Midwives, Worlds Within Worlds. Can you give us a little bit more information without giving too much away about your presentation today?
What I really hope delegates will take away from this is the impetus to rethink what we're doing. The new knowledge that we've got, the awareness that we've got, is actually, I think, causing us to rethink the way we look after women when they have their babies. And to me, the main outcome from this presentation would be to rethink everyday practice, rethink research, reread things, talk to women, talk to each other, because I think that what we're doing is making the aim of our care much broader than it has been. And to me, the aim of our care is about the making of mothers, the woman becoming mother, the baby being integrated into the family, formation of love and so on, as well as physical health and well-being. And that will have a huge impact, both on the baby being born, the woman, the family being created, and our society. So I hope that people will have a much broader view of what it means to have a baby in today's world, how we can influence that, and ways in which they can rethink what they're doing.
Thank you so much, Lesley, for chatting with me today. Lesley's presentation, Midwives with Women in the World of Women and Midwives, Worlds Within Worlds, will be live on February 13 at 1600 UTC. Please go to www.goldmidwifery.com for more information on this presentation and the other presentations of GOLD Midwifery Conference. That's it for now. Goodbye.